Oh yeah. Good morning, good evening, good night, good whatever time it is, wherever you are. Thank you so much for joining again. This is Dr. David Wasambla, the Dreadlock Doc or the Dreadlock Doctor. Well, welcome back. Welcome back to our another session of ranting and complaining. Not complaining, but yeah, you are my therapist. Remember that you are my therapist, and so I'm back to tell you about some of the things I've gone through, discuss the traumas, and as usual, yeah, hopefully it helps you. It helps me as I rant, and I hope I don't cry again today. Remember last week I cried and cried, so we're not doing that again today. Hopefully, I don't want to promise you because I might not keep that promise. So yeah, this is Humanitarian Chronicles, my new podcast where we discuss with you my experiences as a humanitarian health worker. Hopefully, we'll be discussing experiences of other people very, very soon. I'm just working out some finer details with the studio where I'll be going to. I'll let you know once that is firmed up. And yeah, prepare for an exciting time. We have wonderful guests coming on board. We'll be talking to quite a number of people, a diverse group of humanitarians and responders. So we'll have medical people, we'll have non-medical people, we'll have military people. I believe, yes, at least one military friend of mine who has confirmed that he will be available. He has amazing stories. I mean, he's a good friend of mine. Good friend of mine. We worked with him in Moyale. Pulled a few bullets out of his body and his friends' bodies. So yeah, prepare for that. So what I was doing now, I was just trying to find. I was looking at some of the topics that I wanted to discuss with you, and yeah, let's talk about South Sudan. Let's talk a bit about South Sudan today. As you are aware, my new book, Broken Souls Chronicles of a Humanitarian Health Worker, is available. It's currently in 3 outlets within the country. The newest one, which I'm excited about, is the bookworm Gigiri Courtyard, and then we still have it at Nuria Books, and we have it also at Kibanga Books. So please pop into those places or check them out online and ask for your copy, and you will enjoy. I'm sure you'll enjoy because at least I have been told people are enjoying it. I enjoyed writing it so that I'm able to put these stories out to you, and people have told me they've enjoyed reading it, whether they're young, whether they're old, all demographics, all age groups have told me that whenever they've read it, they've enjoyed it. So why am I so excited? As you can see, first of all, if you saw me yesterday in this t-shirt, you didn't see me. Because what were you doing seeing me yesterday? See me. What were you doing seeing me yesterday? You should have seen me today so that I look like I'm fresh. But if you saw me yesterday, erase that or change the color in your mind. So you are seeing this for the first time in your life. All right. A couple of things before I talk about my experiences in Moyale, some of the experiences in Moyale, because yeah, it was not Moyale, sorry, South Sudan. Moyale is where I talked about my military friend. Moyale we've talked about a little. There might be other stories about it soon, but yeah. So today is traumas and triggers part 6. Traumas and triggers part 6. I hope it is part 6. If it's not part 6 and it's part 5, and I've put it there, please just assume I said part 5. I think it's part 6. I believe it is part 6 today. So, South Sudan. Before I talk about South Sudan, there's a reason I'm very excited, and let me just let you know. So, I got back on stage last evening. Remember, I had posted and said I'll be back on stage with Punchline Comedy at Two Grapes Wine and Friends. Yeah, I was back on stage. For those who know, those who don't know, those who've read the book, those who know me, you know that I used to be a stand-up comedian for many, many years. For many years, I began professional stand-up comedy in Russia when I was still in university. Came back to Kenya, continued that, but then now, yeah, I stepped aside because I had to go back to do my medicine, and then eventually I ended up in a humanitarian mission, so there was just no time to do it. So I'm taking advantage now that I'm jobless between contracts. I'm taking advantage now to kind of like pick on the things that I've been putting aside for some time so that I can see what is left. What is left? I mean, at 51. Oh wait, I was told it is 20 plus 31. 20 years at 20 years of age plus 31 years of experience. There are things that if probably I don't continue to do or I don't figure out how to get back to, then I probably just miss out on them. I don't want to have regrets over the day that this life is over, and then I'm like, oh man, I should have done this, I should have done that. So I was on the show. It went very, very well. Yeah, well received. Thank you everybody who attended. Thank you to Punchline Comedy. Thank you to the DJ. Thank you to the establishment. Thank you to my friends who were there. Thank you to Pato. You came, hey bro, and your song played and people loved it. And you see, I told you your talent is still there. Bado umeiva. So please get back on the horse, and yeah, let's do this. Let's do this talent thing that seems to be running in our family. This is me and you. I mean, all of us, so that we see what you can do with these things that we have that have been gifted to us in this life. yeah, so that was that. That was number one. Okay, not number one necessarily, but that was number one. So yeah, the show was amazing, and I enjoyed myself. Catch Punchline Comedy. Catch that show. If you missed it, if you were not there, catch the show. Pretty sure it's going to be on the social media handles of Punchline Comedy on YouTube, on TikTok, Instagram, and other places. When the clips are out, I'll also post on my social so that you're able to see them. So yeah, we're back. I told you this is the year of reactivation, right? 2026, my year of reactivation. So I was back MCing last week. I emceed the event, DACO Awards 2025, which is basically we were rewarding medics and medical institutions for the work they did last year. So we had all kinds of categories. It was amazing. So that was that. So I reactivated the MC. I reactivated the stand-up comedian. So hopefully you'll be seeing more of this face on stand-up comedy stages before I go back to mission. Then, yeah, as I mentioned, we found a new home for broken souls. So we found the Bookworm Cafe in Kigiri Courtyard, an amazing place, wonderful coffee. I tasted the coffee; it was awesome. So coffee is wonderful. The vibes are good. Please pop in there. Please pop in there. Have Mungai also with locks like me. Have Mungai whip you up a coffee, or Miriam whip you up a coffee and talk about the books that are there. And of course, we kindly talk about this. I mean, Kwani. Talk about this. Grab yourself a copy and have a coffee. And yeah, wow, that went well. Grab yourself a copy and have a coffee. Nice one. I can't repeat it again. It's just yeah, so there's that. Talk to Shuruti, the owner, who's an amazing, wonderful, wonderful lady, doing a very good job. So yeah, that's number two. Number three, of course, this continues. I'm still alive. I'm still here. 51 years. And I remember I mentioned I posted something about my high blood pressure. Yes, so I think it's still high. I haven't gone to check. Been lazy, I was preparing for the show yesterday. Yeah, so my blood pressure, as I mentioned, was high on Saturday when I went to donate blood for my cousin. They told me, yo, bro, yours is the blood that the builder rejected. I mean, the lab guy rejected, because my blood pressure remained after 3 attempts above 140 over 100, 140 over 100, 100, 3 times, and it had happened that way about a month ago. So I was like, yo, I didn't even wait to go at stage 1. I just jumped to stage 2. I'm like, I'm me the Olympics. I'm that guy who just decides, what, when you do it big, do it well done. Don't like do medium rare. They don't know rare CG what. You do it well. You do it with your own chest. Just inje fanya yote kama unagonjeka. No, I'm joking. Wait, don't go and do what I'm saying. Right, then one more thing that's coming up very, very soon, which I actually missed, and I'm very sorry, Tanya, for missing that. I was supposed to be on a podcast with a wonderful lady, Tanya Roundy. Podcast is called Roundies, Rants and Raves. Roundies, Rants, Raves and Reviews. Roundies, Rants, Raves and Reviews. Tanya Roundy were to do this podcast last weekend, or Sunday actually. But then I'd been so busy preparing for the rehearsals for the shows. Monday we had a workshop, of course. Punchline Comedy has workshops every day. Eric Lu Savali, asante sana, wewe na crew yako yote, really appreciate. So I was preparing for that. So I was so tired. And tired after the hosting of DACO Awards, so just beat. So by the time the show time rolled up at 2 a.m., I was unavailable. I was out of stock, unfortunately. So I missed it, and I'm very sorry once again, Tanya. So yeah, so this coming Sunday, what date is it? Sunday, 1st of March, we'll be starting a new month with a new thing. I will be on the show. With Tanya Roundy. The show once more is called, the podcast is called one more time, Roundies, Rants, Raves and Reviews. Roundies, Rants, Raves and Reviews. With Tanya, it's going to be at 12 p.m. MST, where she is, and it's going to be 10 p.m. in Nairobi, GMT plus 3. 10 p.m. in Nairobi, GMT plus 3 on the 1st of March. Name of the podcast one more time, Roundies, Rants, Raves and Reviews. 4R, quadruple R. Roundies, Rants, Raves and Reviews. I can't repeat that often until I memorize it. Yeah, but that's the next thing coming up. So watch out for that. Once the links are ready, once all the information is put together, yes, I will share that. I'm sure Tanya will share on her social. I'll share on my social so that you can catch up with us. Please join us. Come and have fun. Come and hear some of the questions that Tanya is going to ask me and some of the answers I'm going to give. Yeah, it's going to be fun. I guess we will laugh. I hope I don't cry. Not on Tanya's show. I'd rather cry on my podcast, but not on Tanya's podcast. So yeah, watch out for that. There we go. So I told you I was looking for a story. I was trying to figure out the story. So South Sudan came to mind. I think I've mentioned this briefly in another video or in another podcast. That yeah, South Sudan was an interesting experience. South Sudan came about when after I had been out of a job for 5 months. 5 months. South Sudan was between West Africa. After West Africa, after Sierra Leone, when we wound up the Ebola response in Sierra Leone. Got back, was out of a job for 5 months. They have this thing where I do this out of job thing, out of job. People have out of body experiences, me have out of job experiences. OJE. Yeah, it's a thing now. It's a thing now. Out of job experiences. I have lots of those. So if you need some like advice on how to navigate out of job experiences, come. Dr. Lee's who was the co-host, the co-MC, the host and MC, and then I was co, depending on how you want to look at it. Ladies first, so she was the host. He was the host of the show, and I was the co-host. I don't know. So Dr. Lee's has also told me she was an employee. She's been unemployed for 17 months. A whole medical doctor has been unemployed for 17 months. So me, I've been unemployed for 7 months now. Your ECBOT, all this CV here, this big book over here. I am still unemployed. Poleni sana. The reality is, yeah, it actually happens. Poop happens to people, and yeah, you find yourself in a position where you are not where you want to be necessarily. But at the same time, this contract break, this contract period, rest period, allows me to do stuff like this. Allows me to, push for the book to be in different bookshops, to talk in podcast and express more about what we go through as humanitarians, because my main objective, as you've known and realized from the very start, is to share these stories, not because they're necessarily fun to share, because traumas and triggers is intentional, because we find ourselves, when we start talking about these things, we dig into some things that we've been hiding, we dig into some things that have been in the back of our minds, and it exposes our vulnerabilities. But the idea is that I would love, and we would love, I'm pretty sure, for those who are in this book and those who are going to be coming onto the show when we start doing now the interviews with other humanitarians, the idea is to share with you the stuff we go through, right from the heart of a humanitarian, right from the mind of a humanitarian, so that you understand what we go through when we're in the field, what we go through when we're off the field, what we go through when we prepare for the field, what we go through between field to field, mission to mission, what we go through, what we struggle with, what are the good things, what are the bad things, what are the tough things, what are the simple things, what are the nice things about it, so that if you are hoping to go into humanitarian work, wherever you are, whoever you are, yeah, you have an idea of what you're expecting. If you probably are in there, you have an idea of how others are coping, how others are dealing, how others are struggling, and also at the same time, you have an idea that others are also struggling like you. You might be thinking that you're the only one who's struggling with a particular thing. Then you realize, wait a minute, it's not just me. Somebody else also doesn't sleep. Somebody else also doesn't seem to be able to navigate through some of these tough situations. So that's the idea. And then, of course, finally, the main thing is to advocate for proactive mental health support. I'm a mental health advocate for proactive mental health support, so that systems are available to support systems that are available to support emergency responders, systems that are available to support people who work in these kinds of jobs, and basically so that systems are available for all who need the support they need, the support required for mental health. So that's the whole idea behind all these rants and all this noise that I keep making. And as I've said many times, every mission I go into for the past at least 12 years, I've always asked one thing, the same thing: where is the mental health support for us? We are doing a good job in creating programs and mental health support systems for this community, and that's what we should do, and that is good, and I believe much appreciated. Problem is, as we are doing that, we are forgetting ourselves, forgetting each other. Then when we crash, we have nowhere to go to, we have no shoulder to cry to cry on, we have no one to hold us, we have no pillars. And many of us end up crashing, and we are losing quite a number of humanitarians. We're losing a number of doctors. We're losing a number of nurses. We're losing a number of people who are in the response spaces, whatever kind they are, whether it's military or non-military, medical, non-medical, whatever the case whatever the case may be. We're losing many people because they have nowhere to go to. They have no one to talk to. I am lucky. I have you to talk to. I'm sorry, I have you to talk to. So you are my counselor, you're my therapist for now. I believe I will need to go and see an actual. I know some of you are actual, but some of you are not actual. I have to go and see a mental health expert, because someone in my discussion, one of my cousins told me, "Hey, bro, this hypertension." No, with my sister, I thought to myself when I realized that my blood pressure is steadily high. after three now tests, 2 sessions, but now with 3 different tests, it remained consistently high. It seems, yeah, it might be the traumas getting to me. It might be the job getting to me. It might just be life. It might be the 51 years getting to me. I have no clue. But I know there are people who are 51 and above who don't have high blood pressure. So why me? So yeah, maybe it's my lot in life, or maybe it is a combination of all these things that are happening around. So I don't know. It could be that. But on the other hand, someone looked at this, an older cousin of mine, like way older, probably 20 years older, he has silver, but not as much as this, especially not on the beard. I was like, yeah, hey, bro, I'm getting whiter than you. He's like, yeah, it's those places you go to. They're converting into white hair. I like it though. I'm actually enjoying this. I'm enjoying all this, and I'm hoping they just become one nice white bushy beard. So yeah, let's talk about South Sudan. South Sudan, I think I've mentioned before, the day I got to South Sudan, I think it was 2017, sometime in November 2017. Can't remember the actual date. Got there, of course, you land and it is hot. And let me tell you, if you go to South Sudan now, you land at the airport. It's nice, yeah? You get there, there are lounges, there's a terminal, there's all this. I mean, it's good. It's good, and you go in and they check you. Sometimes it takes a bit long for them to check you. Your baggage comes out and you open, like you have to scan your hand luggage. They have to open it. I don't know if they still do that, but they used to open it and they check it, and they can decide to bother you for whatever reason. And then you go pick your suitcase or your bags or whatever, come out from the carousel, and you go out. Yeah, I guess that's how it is till now, and that's how it evolved. However, 2017, when we got there, before I went, I got this security brief, and like a briefing on what to expect when you get to South Sudan. And they're like, once you arrive, do not allow anybody to touch your suitcase in the name of helping you, because they will overcharge you, especially since it's your first time. They will overcharge you. All chances are your suitcase will leave you and go to a different direction, and you'll never see it again. Now, not to say that there's anything bad with the people who were there. The thing was, those days the terminal was terminal-ish. I think those are building, but it was mostly tents. Yes, tents that have been propped up, put together. So those are the terminals. So you'd get off the plane, go to the tents, and you have these guys, and tents were quite hot. South Sudan already is hot by default, like over 30 degrees most of the time, degrees centigrade, most of the time. So you're there, you're getting off the flight, you go into these tents, they somehow direct you, you go to the tents, and you're queuing on those tents, or like several booths. So you queue in the tents, they go check your documents, and then they're like, okay, well, you can enter the country. So I walked out, and there's another tent on the side. Like it's a weird marketplace-looking establishment. It looked like a market. There was so much noise, there were so many people, and everybody's everywhere doing whatever they're doing. And I was told, look for your suitcase, grab it, and walk away with it. So it's an open place. So pickup comes in, they dump the suitcases off, and then they put them, and you just look at the suitcase. Mine is over there, and you pick it. Mine is over there. So as you're going, once you point yours, there's someone running to go and help you to pick it. So you have to make sure that that person doesn't get your suitcase before you, because the moment they touch it, that is now your suitcase. You're sharing it, and he will help you. He'll help you get it to wherever you're going to, whether your vehicle is there or whatever it is, and then he'll help you get money out of your pocket. And they insist, and yeah, I'll tell you why now. You also want to, if you don't want to fight people, you don't want to get into a kind of fisticuffs with the people in South Sudan. At least that's what I was told then. I don't know if things have changed now. So that was the airport. So that was the first impression I got. It was fun. So I'm here, I've just come into a new country. It's hot as F. I have no clue what's going on, and this seems to be the norm. So the whole marketplace there. So I grab my suitcase, with my bag over here, I grab my suitcase. I'm like, no, I don't need help. Leave me alone. I can see, I look strong. I can carry my suitcase. So I thought, yes, sir. Yeah, yalla, go. So I go into the town, get the vehicle. I think I was being picked by the office vehicle, the organization's vehicle. So I was picked, taken to the guest house. The guest house was also, the office space and the guest house were in the same compound. So the office was downstairs, and then rooms were upstairs. So I arrived there, and it was like 3-4 in the afternoon. Hot. If you found a hot place, it was hot. I think that day was one of those months where it was hitting like close to 40s there. I think it was 35 or something. So it's like 3-4 p.m. Just arrived, new place. It's everything, and then it's hot as heck. So I go in, I meet the security guy was the first guy I met. So that was the first meeting I was supposed to have, and then I would meet the other people the next morning, like my boss, the deputy country director, and other people, the country director, and the team that I was now going to manage, because I was going in as a health advisor or something. I can't remember health coordinator position. So the security guy is like, yeah, you place your bag in the room. They showed me the room, and then they said, come back downstairs. I give you a quick like mini briefing, and then tomorrow we'll talk some more, because it's late, you're tired, you need to rest, go find some food. So I'm like, cool. So I drop my bag, come back to him. We go to the boardroom, and he's like, yeah, so Dave, welcome to South Sudan. This is a wonderful place. Juba is cool, you saw the briefing, you read whatever you read, but I'll give you just 2 pieces of advice now, and then tomorrow we'll continue. Then he says, so first thing you need to remember, you need to know, is that there are gunshots every night. So don't be scared. If anything escalates, I will call you guys and let you know if you need to evacuate, if you need to hibernate, if you need to do anything extra other than just staying in bed, or lie on the floor, like under the bed or on the floor, so that you don't get hit if things are getting bad. I'm like, okay, that's a good start. We're off to a very good start. Thank you very much. Then the second thing he said, yeah, you need to know that everybody here has a gun. And he said specifically, the way in Kenya, everybody or almost everybody has a mobile phone. Yeah, so here it's a gun. So please avoid altercations, avoid getting into fights with people. If you get into a misunderstanding, please apologize and create space, like go away, walk away, run away, go away very fast, because everybody has a gun. So if things escalate, someone will pull a gun and just give you a new hole, a new bunch of holes in your body that you didn't have from birth. So I was like, okay, very encouraging. So I need to go home tomorrow. And then I checked my pocket. I had no money. I couldn't afford a ticket. I had a little money which would push me for like 1 or 2 weeks. And I'd got it in the middle of the month. So I was hoping that I would be paid whatever the prorated salary end of the month. Then I'd have some money. But I was like, if I had money and I didn't need this job, I didn't need the money, I would have gone back home. That was scary. I'd been threatened to be killed, threatened by death, with death, or whatever, threatened with death in Moyale. I'd done Ebola response, but now I'm being told that there will be gunshots every night, and everybody has a gun. So if you look at somebody crooked, chances are, you might not. That might be the last thing you see. So that wasn't very encouraging. Well, lo and behold, I was in South Sudan for 6 more years. So it scared me, but kind of built my resilience over time. Now, this was November. I think this was November. Was it October or November? November. December, something, not awesome, something odd, something weird, something crazy happened. So we had a field site in towards the border with Uganda. So Moyo, the border in Moyo. So we had a field site there. Our office was located inside the Ugandan side of Moyo, because that was the only option to have an office there. The office space that had been in the South Sudan side had been destroyed during some clashes in some years past. So the office had to be moved. So the team had to move from Uganda in the morning, come into South Sudan, cross the border, get their passports checked and stamped, cross the border, come in all their visas, they had a visa document, cross the border, come into work in the health facilities, and then go back, drive back or take a ride back on a motorbike back into Uganda in the evening. Unfortunately, when my boss, my direct supervisor, the deputy director, the organization, the deputy country director went to visit that office, the very day he arrived, they were having meetings. So there had been all these challenges about people crossing the border, because you have to cross the border. You deal with the Ugandan authorities, then go into South Sudan, you deal with the South Sudanese authorities. When you're coming back, it's the same process. So there had been some hitches and some problems. So he was going to supervise, but also to kind of support in those kinds of political administrative things. So when he got there, remember, so of course we were in touch, because now when he was out, I was acting in his capacity. So we were quite in touch at every step. And of course, our project was a health-related project. Meaning, as he was there, he was conveying back information to me. This was found. Da, da, da. He wasn't a medical doctor, so I wasn't a medic completely. So me being a medic, so I was chipping in and giving information, giving ideas, giving my responses, giving support to him and to the team as he was there. So he got there. They had this meeting. They were meeting one of the generals in the South Sudanese army who was at the border, who was manning the border area, like the security of the border area. So this general had come and crossed into Moyo to have a meeting with our team and discuss what the challenges were, the border issues, visa issues, how do we make it better, how do they support so that our team is able to function without any hitches, or with minimal hitches as possible. The Ugandan side already had their meeting, so now the South Sudanese time had come, and so the general came, they had a meeting. So one of the clinical officers, who was government staff but seconded, supported by us. He wasn't seconded, we were supporting, so we were supporting incentives and stuff like that. Was in the meeting. Then he was like, oh yeah, I need to go back to the health facility. So the meeting was in the office, which is inside Uganda. He needed to go back to the health facility where he was in charge, pick some documents. I think he had forgotten something there, and so he had to go and pick that and come back. So he had a motorbike. So when he was trying to go, the health medical lead there asked him, oh, please go with my passport and get it stamped, because he had forgotten to stamp it at the border. Get it stamped so that the visa is reactivated and there are no challenges the next day when they're going into the field. So this guy picks his passport, goes with it, crosses the border. So it was going to be like some 20-30 minutes before he comes back. So nothing out of the ordinary. So the meeting ended with the general. The general took his bike also and rode back into South Sudan. About 7 minutes later, he rode back, but it seemed he was in a rush. He came back at full speed. He's rushing in and he's almost hit the gate. He came in hooting from all the way. He was coming towards the gate, and so they opened the gate. They're like, hey, what's up? The clinical officer hadn't come back yet. So he comes back, he says, yo, guys, something has happened, and you need to come and see. Yeah, we may have lost our clinical officer. Guys are like, what happened? He just left now. He left about 5 minutes before the general went. And the reason he was going at that particular hour is because he needed to cross back, I think, by 3:30 p.m. or for latest 4 p.m. he needed to cross back into Uganda so that, he is safe. So I'll tell you why that safety was very important with those hours. So when he crossed, apparently, when the general crossed, he basically came and said, okay, guys, something has happened. I think we've lost our clinical officer and some other people, so let's go. He was on the way. So when he was on the way, apparently what happened was when he was going, he found a motorbike on the side of the road, which he remembered looked like the motorbike that the clinical officer was riding. Further down ahead, so of course he slowed down because that was weird for the motorbike to be just lying down on the road. It wasn't even like, on a stand. It was lying down on the road. Something had happened beside the road. Then he rode a little ahead, and he found the body of the clinical officer beheaded. And the head wasn't there. Then looking slightly ahead, he saw another body, and the head of the clinical officer was next to that body. That other body had also been beheaded, but the head could not be found. So he knew the head because he knows the clinical officer very well. So of course, he just turned his bike and came all the way to the office, told our guys, so the guys came out. We had an ambulance there that was part of the response, part of the response mechanism that we had there. We were doing mobile clinics sometimes, but of course, the team would go in, set up in the health facility, and treat stuff and come back, or do mobile clinics and move around. So the team went back. So they took the ambulance and they went back. Of course, they alerted the security guys on that side, alerted the security guys in Uganda. So they had good relationships. So they alerted everybody, and people are going in. So of course, there's military, there's police and stuff like that. So they get when they got now to the place, because he hadn't done a proper survey. When he saw the two bodies, he just came back, and especially now that one of the bodies was the clinical officer that he knew. So they went back, and what now they found was even worse. Of course, it was bad enough that our clinical officer had been murdered. Somebody else, another motorbike rider, had also been killed. So I told you about how the heads had been placed. The other guy's head was thrown in the bush. Then as they were looking, they found they had the voices. They had some moans and groans or whatever it was. Someone kind of trying to call for help. When they went into the bush, they found 3 old men with cuts on the back of the neck. All 3 of them. So when they now probed deeper, of course, they confirmed that was our staff, our colleague. They checked that the guy unknown, at least at that time, they didn't know who he was, but probably a border rider or just someone who was riding either to or from the place where they were going to. Whatever happened, so he was killed. So they were talking to this old man. They were conscious, but of course in a lot of pain. So as they were loading them onto the ambulance and taking them to the hospital, of course they were telling them what had happened. So of course the police have to interrogate as soon as possible, as long as the person can talk. So the old man told them, yeah, so they were walking, and they found some young men attacking now the clinical officer and this other guy that they had also killed and that beheaded. And then the young men attacked these three men and had started hacking their heads, hacking their necks to behead them. And a motorbike appeared. They had a motorbike coming. So chances were it was this general that was going back to his base who scared them off. So they left the three old men with deep cuts as they had begun beheading them. So they escaped and ran away and left them there for dead. What was the worst part of this is that these old men knew these young men who were trying to kill them and who had killed these other two and had killed the clinical officer. They said these young men live with us in the refugee camp where we stay inside Uganda. So the refugee camp was inside the borders of Uganda. The people had been displaced because of war and conflict and whatever had happened. They said these are boys we know. One of them is son of so-and-so in the tent next to me. The other one is son of so-and-so a few tents away. The other is so-and-so son. So these old men knew these boys who were trying to kill them. It's not like total strangers who were trying to rob them. These are people they knew. And it was intentional because there had been, I think, a political gathering a few days before that. And apparently one of the governors in that area had come and told the people, please come back. People would go to their farms inside South Sudan and go back home into the refugee camps, into the tents. So that's how it used to happen. You go. So even our team would go work in South Sudan and then go back because they could not stay inside that area. It was quite, as you can see, people are just being beheaded. So it turned out, apparently, that there had been a political gathering. The governor had come and said, people, it's safe, come back. There's no need for you to be staying inside Uganda. Please, now you can come back. Everything's okay. And apparently, these young men wanted to pass a message that people should not go back to South Sudan. For whatever reason. I don't want to go into the politics. I don't care about politics. I do my job, and that's how I am. And that's also how, international humanitarian law works. I do stammer, by the way. I'll tell you one thing about my stammering. So sometimes when I speak slowly, when I speak at a normal pace, I have to bring out words because they don't come out. So I speak faster. My fast speech, forgive me, is a coping mechanism I developed as a kid to overcome the stammer. So sorry for that. And don't cry. I won't cry today. You can cry because I won't see you, but I won't cry today. Hopefully, I promise. Kind of. So yeah. They wanted to pass a message that people should not dare go back into South Sudan, should not dare go back. And if they dare to go back the way they were told and assured by the governor, this is what would happen to them. So they were passing a message by killing the clinical officer, who was one of the few who were working and supporting the people in the camp and also within South Sudan at the camp facilities, and killing somebody else random. And they were now killing these old men. They were trying to kill these old men to pass the message that if anybody dared to relocate back, this is what would happen to them. You see how twisted this is? They are not strangers, they are not enemies. These are people who are killing their own people for a reason. That's why sometimes when I hear conspiracy theories about governments doing stuff to their own people to pass a message or to give an excuse or a reason to attack another nation, yeah, it kind of makes sense. It kind of makes. This one wasn't a conspiracy theory. This one actually happened, and our team saw it. I didn't see it, but our team saw it. It was quite traumatizing because we knew this clinical officer. This was someone we knew, someone we had worked with, someone we had been supporting in their work for years prior to this incident. And the worst thing was that he was killed by his own people to pass a message, a political message. So, fast forward several months later, about 6-7 months later, I now went to this, 4 months later, I went to the same field location because I needed to now go and supervise as the health lead for the organization. So went all the way. It was an interesting journey, flying to one point. I was supervising a lot of our sites, field sites. So I'd flown into one area. I was in Nimble. We worked there. Cyrus Wani, an amazing guy. Eventually we worked with him in other places after that. Silas Wani was it the county coordinator for in Nimble in that region. So I went with them, worked with them for about a week and a half. So now I was going to Moyo. So now from Nimble, we flew into Nimble. Now from Nimble to Moyo, it was by road. After road, we had to cross a lake. I don't know if it's Lake Victoria. I can't remember. Cross a lake on a ferry. There was a small piece of paper you give you. That was a ticket after you paid. Like not a piece of carton, like literally this small. It's just a carton piece and written there whatever number they want to write for you. So they put the number there, and then yeah, that's your ticket. That's what you're going to use on the ferry. So anyway, we crossed and we went all the way into Moyo. So I went there. I was doing my supervision, and in the evening, we were planning with the gentleman who was there for the next day. So I usually plan my trips in a way that, we start as early as possible, do as much as possible, then come back. So I was like, yeah. So we are discussing. So the guy's like, yeah, so tomorrow we have this facility, this facility. We have this number of facilities inside our location where we support, but we'll only see maybe one or two. I'm like, yeah, okay, so why one or two? Are we going to spend more time per facility? He's like, no. So the thing is, we leave here at like 10:30 in the morning. We come back at around like 4. I'm like, hey, boss, what the fast? Hey, hold on, pull up, select that, pull up. Why are we leaving at 10 in the morning, 10:30? So I began going into this, for proper planning and program management. We need to go leave as early as possible, maybe like 7:30-ish. We're already out of it. We've taken breakfast, we're getting out, so that by around 8-ish, we've crossed the border. And then he's like, yo. He looked at me and smiled and said, no, I'll tell you something. Release the team. After the team left, he's like, yeah, David, bad things happen here very early in the morning or late in the afternoon. And he had this smile. It wasn't like he was smiling sarcastically or smiling for fun. It was a smile, a knowing smile, because I hadn't realized that he was talking about that incident where that clinical officer was beheaded. He said here, the earlier you go, the more chances you have of getting attacked. So we go 10 in the morning when now the sun is up, people have begun moving around, the military has done their patrols, and anybody that was planning anything has disappeared or has gone into hiding. We come back as early as possible, 3:30, latest 4. We've crossed the border back, because after 4, then again, bad things begin to happen. Then he said, remember that clinical officer, the incident of the guy who was beheaded there? He said, yeah, it happened after 4 o'clock. So anything that happens after 4 p.m. and all the way to 9:30 a.m. the next morning, those are the bad hours. So he just told me bad things happen very early in the morning or late in the afternoon. I was like, yo, okay. So yeah, I agree with you, by the way. Let's go at 10:30, 11-ish here. We leave the place and we go and do one facility, come back by 4. So and I didn't do that, but that's what I would have done if I wanted to look like I'm the one who came up with the idea. So yeah, this was now about December. December is when the incident happened, and then about like February, March, I was now in the field, in this particular field location. I mean, when we were going in, we talked to the border officials in Uganda. We asked them for what they thought we needed to do better to improve our relationship with them. They were like, you know what, you guys help us. You help us in the camp. You help us on this other side, the Ugandan side. We help the Ugandan people. It doesn't matter, because we, again, as responders, as medics, or whatever it is we do, we help everybody. We don't choose, unless there is a reason why we are stuck in a particular place. Otherwise, we're supposed to help everybody, and that's what we do. And the team was doing that. So like, you guys are amazing. When you cross over to this other side, these are all our people. These are all our brothers and sisters. If you help them, thank you. So there were some little issues that had come up. Some people whose visas that expired because they couldn't afford to. So we're like, yeah, we need to fix that. We're like, yeah, you will please go back, because part of the problem was at the South Sudan, our Juba headquarters. I had to go back and now fix those things. So that was scary. Because I was imagining what could happen. So you're in this place where a particular thing happened, a gory incident that happened, and you're told the reason it happened, it's political, but the timings, I had never gone to a place ever that we needed to leave as late as possible in the day for safety reasons. Most of the time we left as early as possible to come back as early as possible because of safety. We had to leave as late as possible and come back as early as possible. So our days were shortened. Our work hours were shortened in the field because of that, security reasons. So of course now we're driving into this place and I'm looking around. So now for some reason now my antennas are even now standing even higher, because now anything that moves in the bush, like is it them, is it them, is it them, is it them, is it them? You get over the facility and the facility, but my mind wasn't at ease because we're looking and I'm looking at the folders and the files and everything that the patient related stuff, supervising, but at the same time I'm like, yeah, so is anybody trying to? Did you hear that? Did you hear that? That goat, it's behaving weird. It's moving different. That goat is that bear is a different bear. Is it calling someone? Okay, that's not the case. But you can imagine that's the kind of mindset when now everything suddenly is now risky. Everything seems like it's against you. Everything seems like it's like that movie, that very bad movie with Will Smith and his son. Is it After Earth? Or I don't know, I can't remember the movie where apparently everything on Earth has evolved to kill human beings, and not everything had evolved for some reason. Yeah, so it's like everything had evolved at that particular moment to take us. It was insane. It was that insane. And if you look at, I have some photos in the book, you'll be able to see at the back of the book some of the scenarios we saw in South Sudan. It was insane. South Sudan, another time I went to another location. The other day we had a training. We had a gender sensitivity training with iHub, CC Hub, iHub. So we had the facilitator. It was an online 2-day training. I plan to do my podcasts, some of the podcasts from the iHub podcast studios, the Lavington iHub podcast. So this was part of the requirement, the training. Then now I get assimilated into the community. Then I'm able to now book and get space. That's when I'll do interviews with colleagues, and then again, as I told you earlier, there'll be amazing people, amazing discussions that we need to have, digging into the hearts and the minds of humanitarians, so that we actually get not just my experiences. And again, as I keep saying, not by a long shot am I the most experienced. I just am lucky that I'm able to do this that I'm doing right now, and I'm able to do this that I've done too. This is my coping mechanism. And even actually in the comedy event yesterday, the stand-up comedy show, I was actually telling my story. So yesterday I talked about Liberia, Ebola response. I talked about Meru when I was a medical doctor as an intern. I just basically was sharing my experiences. My comedy is around my experiences. That's how I get that out of my system. Not everybody can be a stand-up comedian. Not everybody can be a storyteller. Not everybody can be a writer. Not everybody has the chance to go to the gym, like I go to the gym to push the demons out. Not everybody has the chance to come and talk to you and have you being my therapist and me your therapist. That one. Not everybody can do that. So we'll be having those discussions so that we hear from other people how they've coped, how they've done. Maybe I've been doing things wrong. They can help me. They can help you. Maybe you've been wanting to do something. It will be a source of encouragement. And we'll have more ladies in the show, basically to also answer the question, do we have ladies? Do we have many ladies in the humanitarian space? Somebody asked me that. Lorraine asked me in the book reading at Nuria on the 24th or 25th of January this year, when I was doing the book reading at Nuria. It was a good question, because sometimes we assume there are certain jobs that belong to men and others belong to women, or that women cannot do them because they can't leave their families, or women cannot do them because it's scary, it's difficult. So I responded to that. We have more ladies coming into the humanitarian space, but I will be talking to ladies to give you their own experiences, how they cope, how they manage, how they deal with all these things that happen. So watch out for that. Once it's ready, I will let you know. So in the discussion, I was discussing with the team, and I was telling them about how, my podcast is focused on the humanitarian work and what it is that we are trying to do in terms of creating more awareness and helping people to understand what it is that we deal with and what it is that we need to be done for us in terms of support. I think you've noticed that I lost my train of thought. There's something I was saying and it completely disappeared. So maybe I'll come back to it. I have no clue whether I remember it. Anyway, so I was talking about another incident in South Sudan, in South Sudan. So we'd gone to this. Yes, I've remembered. Thank you for not reminding me and helping me remember. So in that place we had gone to, there was this discussion about equality, equity between boys, girls, men, women, and the reality is it's every society, or most societies are patriarchal societies. So there's always that element of women being overlooked, women being undermined, and stuff like that. Girls being undermined. So we're talking about education and all that kind of stuff. I told them, wait. Yes, be that as it may, the reality is very glaring that most societies are patriarchal. But there are places where when you go to, it's the reverse. The boys and the men, boys especially, are completely disregarded. I told them about one of the places in South Sudan that I went to, the Toposa tribe. And I remember asking when I got there, I would see this huge bunch of boys just walking around all over the place, doing nothing the whole day, from basically 1 year upwards. to like 13, 14 years of age. And it was just a big group of boys. I know they'd be all over the place begging and stealing and doing whatever it is they're doing, and just this gang of boys all the time. Gangs of boys everywhere. So I couldn't understand, and I asked, I'm like, hey guys, what's happening here? What's with these kids? I never saw a girl or any girl gang like that walking around. These would look like street kids. They're like, so in this community, girls are more valued because they are profitable when they get married. The dowry is paid on their heads, and yeah, so they bring in profit. Boys, when they marry, then dowry has to come from them, so the parents have to cough. So what the parents do is they tell them to go and fend for themselves. So they basically they dispose of their kids into the streets. Not that the kids are orphaned. Some are, yes. They're not orphaned. Their parents just completely throw them away. Boys specifically. And they were in shock. They're like, what? I had never heard of that. I saw it for the first time. I saw it with my own eyes. Of course, I couldn't take photos for obvious reasons. I couldn't take photos of that, so you won't see them anyway. But yeah, that was the reality. It was there that I saw the girls when we were passing through or around compounds. You'd see a hut, a tukul like structure. A tukul basically is a mud thatched, a mud hut, grass thatched roof, and yeah, that's kind of it's a structure. You just Google tukul. But then the Toposa ones, they had the normal tukuls, it's on the ground, and then there were these ones that were on stilts, long stilts stuck into the ground, and then the tukul is at the top. So during the day, there was a ladder. You see a ladder, so means someone goes in and comes out. It wasn't so big. It was like it would fit maybe 1-2 people. So I was like, hey, is that where they keep bird or chicken or whatever? They're like, no. That's where girls live. So the girls would climb up the ladder, and then the ladder is taken away. So if she was to come, she would have to jump. And of course, if she jumps down, she would be heard by the parents and the family members, and then they knew the girl is getting out. So that was to keep the girl out of trouble, so that she doesn't run away into the evening to go and do whatever it is that they think girls do, or whatever girls do when they run away in the evening to go and have fun and stuff like that. And also so that boys do not jump into the tuku. So they're like high up, like a few meters, like 2-3 meters up. Okay, let's say 2 meters up, 2 meters high, and then there's a ladder. During the day, going in and out. At night, they go in, the ladder is taken away, and then in the morning, it's put back for them to come out. So the girls were taken care of. Boys in the streets, girls in the air. So that was a very common thing. And the group was shocked. The lady who was Brenda, the one who was facilitating, the main facilitator, was like, I've never heard of that. I'm like, yeah. So that is South Sudan, and that happened. So it's the reverse. Boys are completely disregarded. Who disregards them? Their own father and mother. So eventually, when they grow up, having been disregarded, and they grow up and they marry, and they'll do the same thing to their own son, which is weird, completely weird. I didn't understand it, but again, that's how it was. That's how it. I don't know if it is the same now, but that's how it is. Same South Sudan. This one time, now I'd moved from this first organization and health pool fund. I was initially in the American Refugee Committee, now called the Light. Then I did a stint in WHO for about a couple of months when there was an Ebola scare in DRC, and I needed Ebola trained personnel, and I come from West Africa. I was among the 2 initially who had ever done an Ebola response physically and practically in an Ebola outbreak. There was myself and another doctor who's currently now in Afro office. So yeah, I was the IPC expert, infection prevention and control expert. That's one thing that I've done quite well. I was part of the curriculum developers in West Africa, in Liberia specifically, which was now being used towards the end of the Ebola response. That was what was being used by the personnel there for training. I developed it. I developed a large part of it. I became an expert in hand washing. The hand washing procedures, those 8-10 steps of hand washing. I became an expert in that. I do it. My children have been trained. I train my children in washing hands. So when I tell them wash hands thoroughly, they do all those steps, like step by step, all of them. I do it in my sleep. I became an expert in donning and doffing. Donning and doffing basically putting on and taking off personal protective equipment, the PPE that we use for Ebola response, COVID response, and stuff like that. So I had moved, I said from ARC to WHO, did this stint in WHO, and then now went to Health Pool Fund. Health Pool Fund was the fund manager, basically the funds from most of the donors, the USAID, UKAID, now FCDO, Canadians, and other organizations, other donor funds would come through Health Pool Fund. The Health Pool Fund dispersed it to NGOs, national and international NGOs within the country. So we were basically supporting eight states in South Sudan. So this one time we went to, I can't remember the place. Was it in Bentiu? I can't remember. There are also photos here of one of the locations we were going to, and it had rained like a few days before that, and there are places where if it rained, you just told, please do not even try. You will get stuck for days until it dries up. So it had dried up, quote unquote. So we had to go to this location. So as we are going, I remember we were going to this place, and our vehicle got stuck. A Land Cruiser got stuck, and it basically got stuck on the road, and it slid and lay down on the side. So there's a photo in the book where I can't remember. I don't think I'll be able to find it. There's a photo in the book where I'm trying to get. I took the photo of the car leaning on the side of the road. This deep, like I don't know. I think they'd been digging over time, so there was like a wall on the side of the road, and then it was the car basically lay on its side. So on the side where I was, so I had to come out from the side of the car onto the mud and then get out of the thing. So it was quite a crazy place. And then when eventually we were able to get the car out of the mud after an hour. When we got to our location, we were told, hey, so they asked us, hey, you guys, you took an extra like 2-3 hours of the road. What happened? Allow me. Cheers. Because we got stuck in this place. They're like, yo, you got stuck in that place? You guys are lucky. Just last night, no, yesterday, the day before, some people that got stuck in the same place and were killed. They were basically mowed down by bullets, or either automatic rifles or whatever. They were just shot. They were locals. You know those community clashes they have, intercommunal clashes they have. So it was a transport vehicle moving people from one side to another, and they got stuck in the same place where we'd gotten stuck, and they were shot dead. All of them were shot dead. I have to show you the ferry ticket. I don't know if you can see it. Maybe you can see it. Let's see. You see that? That's just a small piece of cardboard, small piece of carton cut, and yeah. So that was the ticket for the ferry. This was the what is it called? Airstrip where we had. I think it was the same day we were commuting from now Nimule, so that's where we had landed, and so this is the waiting area. It's basically an open space. So you put your bag there, they come check your bags, and you go into the flight. That's one of the UNFPA flights that we were using. I'm trying to see if I can find the car. Here it is. Found it. So that is how the car got stuck. I was seated on this side, so I had to climb out through the window. And then I took this photo as we were now trying to get the car out. After taking the photo, now we went and like all of us basically were just piling in rocks for the car. Eventually we got the car out, and the team was very surprised. They're like, hey, Daktari, why are you doing this? Well, you shouldn't be with us. I'm like, what do you mean I shouldn't be with you? I should be with you. Here I am. Before I got out of the car, I just put my hand out and took a selfie. see, the whole door is basically inside the ground. That's the whole door. That's how we were propping the door of one of the tukuls where I was in the field. And let me show you something. So a tukul, basically, this is how a tukul door looks like. You have to bend. You have to literally bend and enter. It's low. It's really low. So you have to go in and bend. I've never understood. And I forgot to ask why that was the way it was. There is a Toposa tukul. You see that? 2 meter high stills. They put a ladder there to climb into it during the day, in and out, and then at night the girl climbs in, take the ladder away, she sleeps, and then morning they put it back so she can't get out, and if she jumps out they will hear. That's the whole point. This was a river which had dried up. That's a truck sank into the river a few weeks before this trip, and they decided, you know what, we are not going to waste our time getting it out, let it stay. So I was actually sitting on top of a truck. This is the bed of the truck, the back of it, where you put luggage. So they basically left the truck there. So these are the kinds of places we used to go to in South Sudan, and other places I've gone to in other locations. We talk about Ukraine. I'll show you some photos of Ukraine and the buildings that were destroyed. Yeah, so this was South Sudan. It was quite scary. So today's traumas and triggers basically is to talk about some of the scary things I saw in South Sudan, some of the things that we saw in South Sudan as we were there. It's the same South Sudan that one time there was a lecturer walking out of a university in Juba, and then someone just came up, shot him in the head, and killed him. Apparently, it was a revenge killing that was based on something that happened 10 years ago. The person who killed him was revenging for their brother who had been killed by the brother of this professor. It wasn't even the professor that did anything. The professor was just the brother of the person who had killed somebody else. Either it was an accident or by I don't know what happened, or they had a fight and shot somebody. Waited 10 years. I think they didn't do the traditional, like that compensation or something. It wasn't done well. It wasn't done completely, and they thought it was forgotten. 10 years later, he walking out of the university, 4 p.m., done his lectures, pow, gone. So those are the kind of things. So that was the environment we were living in. I don't know how much it has changed because I've been away from South Sudan since 2022, September. I don't know how if things have gotten better, but I mean, if you go by the news we hear, as I said, South Sudan was just bubbling, was just under the surface. It was just something under the surface, just about to happen, just about to happen. We're always on standby that anything could happen anytime. All these political stuff that was happening, all this military stuff that was happening, all these people fighting each other. It was just under the surface, did I say on the surface? Just under the surface, it was just about to bubble over and things are about to happen. Every single day you're waking up, something just might happen. So you're always on tension. So 6 years of this tension, I think, also got to me. But the 6 years, I need to get out of here. So I got out, went to Sudan, did Sudan a bit, and then eventually Ukraine came up, and I went to Ukraine. In between, there was a gap of around 5, 6 months again of joblessness. Yeah. So that's it for today. I didn't cry. You see, I didn't cry. I don't cry all the time. So yeah, once more, remember to grab a copy of the book from Bookworm, the Bookworm Cafe at the Courtyard Gigiri, or at Kibanga Books in the CBD, Nairobi, Corner House on Kimathi Street on 5th floor, or at Nuria Bookstore, right here in the CBD, the junction of Moy Avenue and Tubman Road, the Bazaar. On the first floor, Nuria Books, and the Nuria Books also has a branch in Nyali. I can't remember. I think is it Links Mall in Nyali. Just Google it. Nuria, the bookshops here, actually you Google them all and they'll deliver to you. Once you pay, they deliver the books to you, or the book to you, or rather, whichever you buy books. The more you buy, the better. For me, for us, it gets into more hands. And of course, if you are out of the country or you want a soft copy, then go to Amazon.com. Amazon.com has the book. .com specifically. Amazon.com has the book there. You grab your copy there also and enjoy it. Kobo.com has the book. I'm not sure how well it is doing. I think I only saw there was one sale and they never paid me. So, I mean, if that's the only option you have, please. I just need the book in your hands and the book in other people's hands so that they learn more about humanitarians, more about what we struggle with, and so that we make more noise for mental health support. For all responders, all emergency responders over there. That is the main objective of this. That's why I'm doing this. That's why I hope I'm able to share this story so that you are able to help me pass the story to other people, so that they pass the story to other people until it gets to the right ears. If it doesn't, as I say, hopefully when I get some money, I'll go and do a course myself, a master's course, a postgraduate course on mental health in emergency settings, so that I become the change that I want to see. Well, that has been it from me. Traumas and Triggers Part 6 will be loading up very, very shortly. I mean, I'm telling you, I'm recording it now, so you'll see it online in a short while, both on YouTube, on Humanitarian Chronicles, and on the other social medias. The shorts are going to be there, and snippets, so you're able to catch the whole video. Thank you very much for spending your time with me. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for being my therapist. Thank you for allowing me to talk to you, and thank you for joining me in this journey. Adios. Have a good day.